It's
I
good.
recording. Okay, it's okay for you.
Yes, it's fine. No problem.
It's amazing because I mean, sorry for the little. I love your band.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm really trying to stay professional, but oh, it's really, really, really difficult. And I saw you last year at Nova Rock, and I was like, no, I-
Oh,
finally.
cool.
Anyway, Sharon, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank
And
you for having the interview because it's yeah, really
it's
nice to have that.
a very important topic. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
only talking about your artistry, but uh, I can say that I love people that don't give up and don't hide during this difficult time, because there are many artists that doesn't show up what they think about war, what they think about how is our world is going on, and all the mess is going on around the world, and I don't like it because I love people that have an idea and share everything they think, and they try to do something. So you are uh, doing something amazing, even if it should be a normal thing.
I agree. It should be a normal thing. I totally agree. And especially because I think the world's on fire at the moment. And I think we all should be outspoken and try to do something in a small way. You can still raise your voice and raise awareness without being too political, even. Although we are pretty political because we have taken the side, of course, we've taken the side of the Ukraine. And but still, if you don't want to do that, there's also a different way of doing that and still be outspoken and address awareness, to my opinion. And so I agree. I think it's sad to see that not a lot of bands do it because there's a lot of talk about other subjects, more social things, which is also important. But I think when the world's on fire and there's so much happening in the world right now, it is very important to be outspoken. And I know we've been active selectively because we could have been maybe more outspoken about Gaza and Israel and everything about that. But because I think there's already going a lot of attention to that subject, and I think we should also be focused on the Ukraine at the same time. I think as a band, and also because we live in Europe and this is happening in Europe, we feel the need also to express us more about this uh, subject than the other subjects there are around, because there's a lot of things happening in the world, but you have to choose your battles also, because if you take on everything that goes on in the world, then it doesn't come across as sincere, or you lose the attention of people because, oh, there she is again, trying to fight for this person or try to fight for that, for a country, or raise awareness. But we have taken the Ukraine because we think it's a fight for democracy, and I think we're at a point in Europe where we're very much divided, and where we need to stand together as Europe to fight against, um, well, I think against Russia trying to divide us as Europe, because I think that's what's happening. There's a lot of false information, propaganda going on in Europe, and a lot of countries taking their side as well. Slowly by slowly, more countries are doing that, and that's very dangerous because we need to stand together more than ever, I think.
Yeah, and basically it's 1 year that nothing has moved in the right way, and so
No.
it's heavy. It's heavy for the population. It's heavy for all Europe, because basically,
Yeah.
as you say, we are talking about democracy, and
Yeah.
not only human lives that now basically there are. a lot of spots in the world where is uh, genocide is going on, and
Yeah, totally.
that's sad. But I can understand your choose for Ukraine because I know that even in the Netherlands you had a lot of refugee from Ukraine, so I can think
Yeah, we
that.
have. Yeah, we are as a country also supporting Ukraine in a big way. But also in our country, there's a lot of propaganda of Russia going on, and there's a group of people, a growing group of people who is actually voting for far right in our country, which is, who doesn't want to support Ukraine, and the votes for that person is like almost three-third, no, three. Like 75% is voting now at this moment. If there would be elections now, 75% would vote for that person, not because they're against Ukraine, but because they think he can do something for our country. Because there's a lot of, well, there's a lot of issues that we need to deal with in our country as well. And he's just talking to their mouth, you know. He tells them what they want to hear, and they're tempted because they think they have a that that the Netherlands is a bad place to live, but it's not a bad place if you compare to Ukraine, where they're fighting for their lives. We have nothing to complain about, you know. And still, even so, we have a very luxurious life in the Netherlands, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate that,
Yeah,
and
totally.
that worries me a lot.
I mean, I was about a decade in the Netherlands. My
Yeah.
dad is half Dutch,
Oh,
so
really?
so I feel like a connection to Netherlands for this because I have my DNA in there.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
And when I speak to Dutch people, I totally realize that they don't realize. And when I speak even with people in the smaller town, especially
Yeah.
not Amsterdam, not Utrecht,
No, not the big cities. It's more the smaller places also. Yeah.
smaller place, I'm like frozen because you know how in Italy is going, and
Yeah.
I know how can go in another place, and I'm like really frozen because they don't realize how is going in the world really, there is
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think.
yeah, they are like protected until now, and so they didn't think that the world is so cruel.
No, 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 because they're still living in a country that has democracy,
Oh,
and they think by voting for far right it won't change democracy, but it will change democracy. He's trying to change our laws, our basic laws in the Netherlands. You know, it starts with trying to get judges out in certain places, just like Trump has done in America. And if we are starting to vote for far right, these things can happen in our country just as easily, because that's one of the first things they do.
yeah, 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 we saw it. And let's try to talk more now about your single that is
Hmm.
coming tomorrow on the 5th.
Yes, it is. Yes, tomorrow. Yeah.
And how did you arrange everything? Because it's made with a Ukraine producer.
Team. Yeah,
And
producer, whole team, a makeup artist, everything was done by. Even the fashion that I'm wearing is Ukrainian. Yeah, stylists. So it's and fashion design. So it's everything comes from Ukraine that I'm wearing. Who we're working with, everything was Ukrainian. Yeah.
it was amazing. So how did you arrange everything? Because I mean, it isn't still so, I don't want to say safe, but it isn't so easy still
To
going to
get there.
Ukraine, going to Kiev and doing everything. So if you can speak about
Yeah,
it.
of course. Yeah, yeah, of course. Well, what we did is actually anyone can go to the Ukraine if they want to. You don't need a visa or anything. You need your own an international passport to go there. And what we did was Well, I really wanted to do it over there because it felt like strange to record video shots of me in the Netherlands, what we could have done, or maybe at some Second World War monuments or anything. We could have done that, but as it's all happening in the Ukraine, people are actually fighting for their lives there. We felt like, okay, we need to go to the Ukraine. It's relatively safe to be in Kiev.
Mhm.
Of course, at the east of the Ukraine, it's really where the war has been, where the most biggest part of the war is taking place in the Ukraine. That's where the fighting and the bombing is mostly done. Although Kiev is under attack on a daily basis, but they have a very good air defense system. And so when there's planes coming or rockets coming or anything that could harm them, they can defend themselves by shooting it out of the air. And that happens. But a lot of people still get hurt by debris. So pieces of rockets and drones are very dangerous in this war, as they can, they're less easy to detect, I guess, and to get out of the air, shot out of the air is very difficult because they can move easier. Anyway, but anything that comes into the territory, there's an app in the Ukraine that you can download. It's called an air alert, and you can type in your region. So when I went by train from Poland to Kiev with a night train, I installed the app that like everyone told me to do so, and I typed in the region Kiev, and then later on I made it only Kiev. So when something happens in Kiev, I get an immediate alert, and I can go to a shelter in the hotel. There's in every hotel there's a shelter, and also in the streets, there's shelters where you can go where when you don't have a place to go, there's places in the city where you can go. And a lot of people also go to the metro station because it's under the ground and safe enough. And so for me, it was relatively safe to go there. And I knew that up front, I wasn't scared at any time. And the air alert went off a few times. Also, when we were shooting the video, we had like this mud scene with fans, and it was in the studio. Um, a film studio where we did that scene. And then there was an alert going off, and they said, okay, there's drones in the area, but because the walls all have no glass, no windows, it's safe because when you're near a glass, then it's when it's very dangerous because then you can get hurt by the pieces of glass into your skin
Yes.
and so it was relatively safe, and I was in good hands also. And it felt good to be with working with only Ukrainian people because it's about Ukraine being done by Ukrainian people. I'm working with a vocalist, and so it was just yeah, it was just a no-brainer for me to go there. It was like, okay, this is the best choice we can make, and it really felt good, and I was received with open arms, and that was really nice and a really warm feeling. Met a lot of lovely people. The whole team was amazing, and also Music Saves Ukraine is an organization that invited us prior to this video, gave us an invitation because we had done something with them when the war broke out. It was like to raise awareness with 50 other bands. It was like a marathon nonstop, and people were playing music acoustically, and we did as well during that time for the Ukraine. And it was broadcasted in several countries. And so we knew them from that project. And they asked us if we wanted to come to the Ukraine also so they could show us around how they're trying to do good things for the Ukraine and try to raise money and awareness and those kind of things. And so asked us to be like an ambassador for the Ukraine in the music industry to raise awareness on festivals, to talk about these things and to get people to support the Ukraine. And so Robert said, okay, I'm going to check out if it's safe enough for you to go for the video. And then his trip was postponed to after my video. So in the end, I went first and he went second. But it was still, for us both really nice to go there because it was to see with our own eyes the country that we had been supporting from the start, and then hearing the stories, and it really matches with the idea that we had, that people are really just fighting for the democracy and fighting. They're so resilient. Like what happened, for instance, was there was a rocket pieces. They fell on a very famous cafe in Kiev. And
Mhm.
what happened was the next day they took the coffee machine out, and
Yeah.
they put it on the streets. People took chairs out of their homes and they just had coffee on the streets. Like, you're not gonna get us down. This is our place. We're gonna drink our coffee on the streets. We don't care about the building that can be rebuilt. And we, as people, we join each other here to talk about our stories. We get together, we comfort each other, we support each other, and everybody who has a job, they donate money to the army, just not because they have to, because they want to. So also Alex, who is doing this song with us, because we are giving all our royalties to to this Music Saves Ukraine
Mhm.
organization, and he does as well. Like, he sees it as something to do, something for his country as well. And that's how most people there are like, and that's really beautiful to see that they're all standing together. They have a fighting spirit that I have never seen anywhere else before, and it's really inspiring to my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I think that even if for, I don't know if you were there like 1 day, 2 days, three
I
days,
was
but
4 days there. Yeah.
it was, I think, something, I don't want to exaggerate, but it's something life changing because nowadays we don't have this kind of experience. I mean, we have been lucky that there
Yeah.
was peace in the European Union, except
Yeah, totally.
I remember when I was younger during the 90s that was all the war in Yugoslavia and
Yeah,
everything.
I remember that too.
Even,
Yeah.
even there, we didn't move everything. Everything. I mean, we European Union didn't do anything to help those people, and the history is repeating itself, and I'm so angry. Sorry,
No, no,
because
no, no, no. I totally agree. It's repeating itself. And the thing is, the only thing that's different now from when there was Yugoslavia is that everybody's on the internet nowadays. Everybody has eyes and everybody can do something. And at that time, I think it was still like, I remember that Yugoslavia, I think that was when I was like a teenager or something when that happened.
yeah, yeah, something like that. I remember that
Yeah.
I was like 8 maybe, and I remember that they were shooting at news.
Yeah.
Uh, Somebody basically shooting a president of, I don't remember which one, but it
Yeah.
was shocking for us because I mean I was a kid, and
Yeah.
now
It's
we don't
intense.
see a shooting, but
Never had seen that, no.
we can be informed more.
Yeah.
We don't take action. Why? I mean, I'm maybe it's my uh, way to
Well, I
act,
think,
but
yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. The thing is, I think because so many more people know now what's happening, for instance, in Gaza, but also what's happening in the Ukraine, that people are starting to protest now more. And when at the time that with Yugoslavia was happening, the internet was still wasn't that big yet. It was small. It was in the beginning of the internet growing, not everybody had the internet. So there was still in the newspapers and people read about it, but it felt like it was somewhere else, not even in Europe, because
something
it was
that
still
I
felt
want
like far
to
away. I think people realize now more and more that it's very close. Like, Kiev is 2 hour flight from Amsterdam. That's the same distance as for us to Barcelona, where everybody goes every summer. It's like, how can you not see that the world is a small place after all? Like Walt
yeah,
Disney said, it's a small place, and everything is tied to each other. We all feel the effect of this war throughout the world with the grain, with gas and those kind of things. Everything's connected. So to say to have no opinion or to stay out of it, it's not possible because we are all affected by it. And that's not even the biggest thing. I think it's pure about the injustice done to a democracy, to people, to freedom of speech. That's the worst thing, to my opinion. Yeah.
yeah. And the song is called "A Full Parade." And
Yes.
thanks for putting a little bit of, we can say, sarcasm on it,
Yeah.
because I think that only sarcasm in this moment can mitigate all the other feelings.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, I don't want to say this directly, but we know Putin what is doing since more than 20 years.
Yes, totally. But the
Yeah,
thing is,
at Berlusconi, so we know a lot about
yeah,
what was Putin plan, even against gay people, even against
yeah.
uh, everything. I don't know. It's a long list, but
Anything we don't stand for as a democracy, actually. He doesn't stand anything for any rights that we have as a democracy. You're not allowed to speak out loud his name and be against him or vote against him or demonstrate or be the LGBTQ is of course everybody there is also in danger when he but yeah, it's and we're gonna lose so much and people don't realize that, and
and
that's
and
I think
it's
there's a lot of people who's buying his story as well.
yeah.
There's people who really think that we
I mean,
should give back.
it's even not the first country that he invades.
No, no, exactly.
So I can't understand why still some people root from him. Aside,
Yeah,
okay, people taking money from him because,
I think most people who do root for him get money from him or are depending on him to get money most of the
because
time.
they are politicians and they are
Yeah,
big scandal because they are basically funded by him. Even above all, far right is funded by him. And
yeah. There's
aside,
now a list. Did you
people, I
hear
can
about it yesterday? There's a list now coming out from Czechia from the Secret Service. Did you hear about that? The Secret Service list that they have a list throughout Europe with politicians on it that they know had taken money from Russia, from Putin, to spread the propaganda. And there's also some Dutch people on it. So I'm really curious. We were all waiting like, okay, who's it? Who's it? We already think we know. Placing bets.
I think that some of their on them are really clear that were paid by him because
Yeah, but it's nice to have it also on paper and in black and white because then the people who do believe all this rubbish actually have some proof that there's something going on that they didn't realize. Yeah.
it's
So it's
terrible.
good that we have this.
Yeah, it's terrible anyway because I mean, I told you, history repeating is for me something that makes me hungry. Like even when I walk, even when I'm doing something else, my brain always wondering what's going on because work like that, and
Yeah.
I can't understand why people goes on the same mistake, on the same mistake, on the same mistake, having history behind.
Yeah, I think it's people that the only reason why it does happen is because of money. People are hungry for money, and I think and you'll always have bad people, people who want to do nothing and get money for free. But that's what happens. That's the people that he surrounds himself with in his parliament, of course.
Yeah,
So
totally.
that's because what he also does is like nobody from Moscow actually goes to war. It's more the people from the small country, and who didn't go have an education, who don't have a voice. So it feels for a lot of Russian people like there's nothing happening, nothing, nobody they know died in the war, or not that many. But on the countryside, it's all these kids that just grew up poor and thought they were gonna, who believed maybe also partly the propaganda, went to war, and he does it all very, very smart and very, yeah,
Yeah,
very,
and how well you say that it's that Kiev is really close to us. Even
yeah, totally.
St.
How we think,
Petersburg
how we,
and Moscow are really close to us, so we have to think twice about what's
yeah,
going on because I mean, I don't want to say once Ukraine and next can be Romania or Bulgaria or something else, but we are really close and there is really
Yeah.
a danger. And
Yeah, of course.
I can't understand all, really. And
I totally agree. No, I
about
totally agree.
and I love that you and other bands are trying to highlight to about this problem because everything is good in this moment to make awareness, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And so basically on this video we will see you in Ukraine
Yeah.
showing
Yes. And
the say how it's going there basically with an image too.
well, what we did is we filmed at locations where there was bombings,
Mhm.
and we filmed places that are important for the Ukraine, like certain statues, like the motherland, which is a statue that is from the time that the communists were still ruling in the Ukraine, but they changed that statue because it used to be like this hammer and yeah, I don't know how you call that, hammer and the typically two signs of Russia, the hammer and the
The,
sickle shape.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a knife kind of thing.
yeah, the one you use for
Yeah, for Russia.
it's what okay the one you use for with
It's cutting.
yeah.
Yes. And they removed the hammer and that other thing, and they made how do you call that? Like knights have, they have like this armor, like this when you slam with swords on a this
Oh,
thing. How do you call it?
okay,
Sorry.
got it.
Yeah, you get it? Okay. And they made that with the sign of the Ukraine, of the sign, the symbol that they have on the flag and everything. That's on it now. So they removed the hammer. And the other hand is a sword, a big sword, a normal sword. So they changed everything that was communism and they changed it into what the country wants to stand for now. So then you see this motherland statue, which is a woman, and we showed a big flag of the Ukraine. We showed tanks. We showed so many things that are typically of the image now in Ukraine, just to show, well, tell a little bit the story. And what we did with the fans is that they're lying in the mud, and when I said to the director, I think they are like phoenix from rising from the flames. Do you know phoenix, the symbol phoenix?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a bird. It dies and then it goes to ashes, but then it burns in flames and then it turns to ashes and then it gets reborn again. That's what I think is the Ukraine. It's never giving up. There's every time standing. They never die. They always rise up from the ashes.
Yeah, yeah,
And he said,
right. Always.
yeah, and he said, well, that's a good image. Maybe we should. And then he made it different. He said, okay, did you see something moving in the mud? And then you see people rising up from the mud and you see them dancing like, okay, we're not going to give up dancing. We're not going to give up fighting. We're not going to give up anything for what's coming. You can cover us with mud. You can cover us with anything. All that shit. It will just slide off us and we'll just fight and we'll go on living. And that's what the message of this is like. It's a fool's parade to think, to believe what he's saying. That's the title. And that's, and these people never give up. They will never give up fighting for their country.
That's good. Anyway, thanks a lot for sharing your experience. And I
Thank
can't
you.
wait for the album, for everything, for see you alive again. Maybe this time I bring even my little one because
You should. How old?
she is 6. And
6. Wow.
yeah, and basically she, okay, I stopped the recording because these are our